Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of May 2025. I hope you are well. I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot for you today, which is interesting. So, things to tell you. If the reading resonates and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's via one of the links in the description box. I forget which. You're looking for the link that takes you to Selfie. Alternatively, you can come and join Circle. You can get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost beyond the membership fee. And you have the opportunity to participate in live classes across all sorts of modalities. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, you know what to do with that link. Right, Capricorn. Let's just put that down there a second. Oh, let's move my Llewellyn out of the way. I didn't realise that was in shot. And we're going to pull an oracle card from this deck. This is the Liminal Forest. It's absolutely extraordinary, and it seems to be very popular. So we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to cut the deck here. So this is your card there. We will look at that at the end. It's been very good for giving a kind of... acting like a confirmation, I guess. So let's get the Deviant Moon out here anyway. I'll give this another good shuffle just because why not? And let's see what's going on with you. Could I have 3 cards for Capricorn? Ooh, please. 3 cards for Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know? Whoa, okay. Right then. So we have an absolute clusterfuck of cards going on here. But that's pretty cool. We've got the 9 of Swords. We have the Devil, which is your card in the tarot, just so you know. We also have the King of Swords and we have the 6 of Wands. I think a lot of Capricorns have taken... You've taken the plunge on something, but we'll get into that in a second. Let's just move that out of the way. It don't usually take so many cards, but they seem like they're on point. So what about current energy for Capricorn, please? What's current energy for Capricorn? Current energy's all over the shop, apparently. Current energy for Capricorn. Thank you. Right, we have the 10 of Cups on its side. And what about what's coming towards Capricorn for May, please? What does Capricorn need to know? We've got an upright. It's the 5 of Wands. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is lovely. I like this for you very, very much. I know the 5 of Wands isn't exactly a card that we like to see, but it's not really a negative one, I'll be honest. It depends how you look at it. It's a card that represents Saturn, as the Devil does over here as well. So in some ways, it's kind of like a continuation of what you have put yourself in for, right? You understand that there's going to be some aspect of this because the 6 of Wands is over here, right? So we're saying whatever leap you've taken recently, don't think that this is the end of it now, because there's more work that's going to go into a continued... prospect of success, I guess. But let's get some clarifiers out and see what's going on here. So tell me about this clusterfuck. Right, we've got the Page of Pentacles. That makes sense. Okay, what's going on here for Capricorn? All right. Wow. Holy shit, Capricorn. The Death card, the Tower card, the 10 of Swords. Wow. Have felt very much like Capricorn's been going through quite a significant transformation, and I think everything that I'm seeing on the table here is just acting as validation of that feeling. But we've seen it coming for months, right? Tell me about the 10 of Cups. Why is the 10 of Cups here? We have the 4 of Pentacles and the Lover's card, and then finally, I don't usually have this many cards on the table, Capricorn, but there's obviously a lot going on. I think we might just shuffle them across there. Tell me about the 5 of Wands. What does Capricorn need to know about the 5 of Wands? We have the 4 of Wands. Wow, 2 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. Okay, right. So, 8 of Wands is at the bottom of the deck, and this is... Ooh, I just got canny goosebumps. I don't know, you can see that. I've just come out in massive goosebumps everywhere. Now, we just deal with these two shadow cards here for a second. I know you can't really see them properly, but I mean, if you do want so many cards, Capricorn, I just don't know what to tell you. I've only got so much space on my table, right? So let's put these here. Doesn't help that what's straight for me isn't straight for the camera either. So there we go. Right, so we're looking at the two shadow cards at the bottom of the deck first. These are the King of Pentacles, which is your king, so this is significant, and the Eight of Wands. Now, if we start with the King of Pentacles, it's a card that generally represents the sign of Taurus, because the fixed signs are the kings in the way that I read the cards, right? So we've got the active expression of something, and where the King of Pentacles is involved, it's about not only the resources that you have at your disposal, but it's the long-term plan. Because we're always talking long-term when it comes to the King of Pentacles. He's not particularly spontaneous. And neither is he prone to just moving around for the sake of it, as per something like the Knight of Wands or something like that, right? He's being very diligent, very disciplined, very committed to a new path that he has set in motion. And I think with everything that we're seeing over here, and this is profound, Capricorn, I'll not fuck around here, this is big. It's not the culmination of an old plan, it's the beginning of a new plan. And there is always going to be a little bit of instability when we first set off on some sort of new venture, right? What else to say about him? It's very much of the order of delayed gratification. So that's the important thing about this one, and I'll get to why that's important when we come over here. Here we have the Eight of Wands. Now, this has two different meanings, and I'm going to give them both to you, but I feel like it's the latter that is the one that's going to apply. So sometimes the Eight of Wands, because it is Mercury in Sagittarius, can represent messages. It can represent swift incoming communication, right? And so looking at this, we would say about your longer term plan. That's possible for some of you, but I feel like what's more likely is what we're seeing for you that begins this month. It might have started already, actually, over here, is an amplification or an acceleration of what your plan contains. So the new path that you're on, it's like, oh, you're here and it's very real, and now it's time to kind of dig in and really, really engage with that. But I'll tell you how all of this relates to what's going on here in a second. I've lost my bit of selenite. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's down here on the floor. Amazing. Okay, so we start over here in your recent past, and we can see there's quite a lot going on, right? There's 8 fucking cards on the table, for God's sake, right? So we know already that there's been a lot of energy poured into where you have been up until recently. And to be clear, when I say recent past, we are talking about anything that could have been as recent as this morning before you watched this video, or up to about 6 weeks back, right? We're encompassing that time frame when we're looking at these cards here. And we have the Nine of Swords, the Devil, the King of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Now, individually, these cards speak to anxiety, concern, worry. I mean, it can go right the way up to mental illness, actually, but it's like the way to often understand this card is if you were to wake up in the middle of the night, what would be the thing that would be on your mind? What would be the thing that was probably preventing you from going to sleep? Like, what are you worried about? What do you possibly having insomnia about? What's stressing you out? The way that I like to look at the nines is they are about the individual management of whatever suit they represent. So in the case of this, we've got the Nine of Swords, which is talking about your mind and how you manage your mind or whether you don't, because ultimately this card comes down to perspective. Do you have the correct perspective in whatever it is that you're doing right now, right? Or are you allowing this devil here, which does represent you, but also represents that kind of creeping fear? I swear to God, it's like one of my favourite devils in any deck ever. I mean, just look at that. And even the way that he's kind of sneaking up on this woman in bed. It's got that kind of creeping fear about it. Now, it does also represent the sign of Capricorn and, by extension, the planet Saturn. And so I tend to read the devil a little bit more charitably when I see it in your readings than I do in anybody else's, because there's always a question of identity when a main card that represents your sign comes up, right? And when you combine it with the fact that we've got the Death card and the Tower card down there, there does seem to have been some sort of internal implosion around your identity. And I think flowing from that, because we've got the King of Swords over here about the decision-making process and victory, which is what the Six of Wands is about here. Some concern. I think you've been second-guessing as to whether you're doing the right thing or not. Like the ultimate aim is the Six of Wands. It is a feeling of victory. It's a feeling like you have won at something, right? It's Jupiter in Leo, so it is a card that is associated with success. But there are decisions that you've made here that are kind of big. They're really, really big, and they've taken you on a different route to perhaps those that people around you might have thought was a good idea, right? And you haven't been oblivious to that, Capricorn. Like, it's there. It's been a little creeping devil. And I mean, I feel like the reason why you haven't been oblivious to it is because on some sort of level it's been confirming concerns that you've had about the decisions that you've made. But I would say, even having had all of that, you've still chosen to forge a new path and go in a new direction. I think it's entirely possible that quite a lot of people are kind of looking at you going, what the fuck are you doing, Capricorn, you know? So, for example, there could have been a huge career change for you. You might have decided to eschew that which, gave you some sort of material stability, and maybe correspondingly a little bit of status and all those kind of things that Capricorns generally like. I am a Capricorn ascendant, right? So I can say these things. And the security that comes with those, in favour of something that feels like freedom. And this is quite important, because this is the feeling that I'm getting off this Six of Wands here. It is the freedom, it's the release, it's the liberation from incarceration. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a chariot or something like that. That's usually what we see in the Six of Wands. But for me, it looks like somebody who is emerging out of a cocoon. We talk about this quite a lot. Like, that cocoon can be hella fucking claustrophobic for a long time, and at the point where a butterfly emerges out, suddenly it's got the opportunity to kind of spread itself in a way that it hasn't had while it's been going through its deconstruction and reconstruction process. So we can further see the significance of what you have been through recently in the Page of Pentacles, indicating this new path, indicating this change in values. Because if you have always been obsessed with material security, right, and all of your drive and all of your impetus has come from that place, and then because of the changes that you've been going through, or maybe it's even changes in the environment that you've witnessed, you have chosen to focus your feelings of success on something that expresses very, very differently. It's undermining everything that you thought that you stood for in favour of something that you now are starting to realise is much more valuable than what you have valued before, right? Hence this new step in the Page of Pentacles. But the Death card and the Tower card together, even here with the Ten of Swords, they are speaking to a monumental shift in consciousness. And to be honest, Capricorn, I've seen this coming in you for quite a long time. The Death card represents the transformation process. We're already picking that up here in the Six of Wands, where you yourself are changing, and what you actually consider to be important has changed significantly too. But accompanying with that isn't just looking at the world with new eyes. In fact, what we've got is someone who has been prepared to completely uproot their sense of security in pursuit of what the new value system is, right? And we see this echoed in the Ten of Swords. Now, most people don't like the Ten of Swords because of its associations with humiliation, betrayal, being left for dead, all those kind of meanings, right? Which are absolutely accurate interpretations of the Ten of Swords. However, if we kind of pull this apart a little bit, which I think you'll probably be up for, Capricorn, right? And we analyse the constituent parts of this. What we have is a 10. So we're talking about an ending, a completion, a fulfillment of a particular kind of journey that we've been on, as it relates to the way that we think, the way that we communicate, the way that we interpret the world. Now, you fuse all of this together, and what this is saying to me is that Capricorn has shook their own fucking tree and gone, do you know what? This isn't it. I'm not about this anymore. There's something fundamentally has changed with me, and now I value something different, and I'm going to pursue that. The end, then, of the way that you have been thinking about the world, the way that you've been interacting with the world, right? It's so different from what you've done before. And in some ways it runs entirely counter to what you have valued before and the way that you thought about the world before. That there's something inherently destabilizing about it. I would not be surprised to find out that a lot of Capricorns have moved house, that they have changed jobs. Maybe some of them have left relationships, possibly. I feel like that one's a little less likely. But we're talking about major shake-ups in what it is that your life is based on and the direction of travel that it's going in now that your value system has changed, right? We've seen this going on for quite a long time. But I think to some extent you might actually have surprised yourself with just how quickly you have turned all of this around. It's not been without its difficulties. You know, both a lot of this might have been logistical, actually, just like simply the logistics of making all this happen. But on a deeper level, you are aware of how fundamentally you must have changed, right? So we're talking about identity again there, for you to be even pursuing this path. That's huge. So when we come into your current environment, we have the 10 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Lover's card. And this is really very interesting. It's one of the reasons why I feel like leaving relationships might not be that much of what has been going on for Capricorn, right? It's possible. But I feel like it's different kind of changes that are happening, because the 10 of Cups, rather, here it is. It's about the collective, right? It's the happy family for sure. We see here, a couple of parents, a couple of kids going on. And it can speak to lots of other things. But again, like this card here, we have got an end. So I would say it is entirely likely that in your case, Capricorn, it isn't just you that is affected by the decisions that you've made. And in some way or another, it could well be that that's been the thing that's caused the stress, because we know that Capricorns are very responsible. They're very resourceful, right? But quite often you've got a lot of people relying on you for something, right? Family, possibly, whether it's your children, or maybe you've got elderly parents or something like that, right? I feel like for some of you, whatever the wrench was here, it actually involves you kind of taking out yourself out of the community that you have felt very safe in up to a point. Because the 10 of Cups, just like the 10 of Swords and like the 10 of Wands, is an end, right? Not in a oh my god, a nuke went off and everybody died, right? Like, not that kind of end. It's an end in there is it's reached a point where there are going to be new developments, and what the community is, whether it is your family or the community that you've been a part of, is necessarily going to need to evolve to adopt the change in circumstances, or adapt to the change in circumstances, right? So the thing is, though, I'm not sure that you know quite what that's looking like yet. It's like you can intuit that it's coming. You know that it's here, and you know that it's going to affect a lot of people. But we don't have a total breakdown. We don't have anarchy and everybody being really, really unhappy. And we don't have necessarily a smooth transition like we would expect if the 10 of Cups was in the upright here. Instead, we've got something that is just kind of you're aware of, but you don't know what that's going to look like. And that, in and of itself, can cause distress, right? Because Capricorn likes things to be predictable. Because if things are predictable, then always know what the next step is. And the thing is, I think like a lot of us have been lost. We've been in a bit of a fog. And a lot of us have quite literally nuked the obvious next step in favour of, and the obvious next step is actually just to remain where you are, in favour of striking out into the new. And there are difficulties with that, right? Because we actually can't predict how it will go. We have to just trust ourselves and rely on ourselves that it's going to be okay, So we've got the Four of Pentacles here and the Lovers card. And actually, I think this is really beautiful because the Four of Pentacles is a Capricorn card for a start, right? I forget what the astrological, the planetary association is with it, but it's a Capricorn card. But because it's 4, we're talking about foundation. Now, it's not the only card numbered 4 that we see on the table. We'll see another one of those in a minute. But you're talking about the cornerstone of your existence when we're talking about 4s. Like the things that feel safe. And the things that allow us to build on top of them, right? So I feel like with this Four of Pentacles here, because it's very different to the kind of Four of Pentacles that we usually see, it's not about clamping down and holding, onto things really, really tightly. It's actually being held really loosely here. In fact, she seems to be offering it to someone else. And when we've got 2 cards that speak about others, in your case, Capricorn, so we've got the Lovers card here and we've got the Ten of Cups here, it feels to me like there's a desire to cooperate with others to create the new foundation, right? It's not something that's necessarily on your shoulders entirely by yourself, although you feel a great deal of responsibility for what it is that's going on here. It's like you're quite happy for this to be almost like a group project. Like, okay, so we've taken this step, we've struck out into the new. I am responsible for whatever this is, but how can I work together? How can I cooperate with what my community needs, with what my family needs, with what my tribe needs, in order for us to manifest the kind of life that I hoped it was possible for us to achieve by taking this great big fucking leap, whatever this is here, right? And all the corresponding transformation that's gone with it. I really like that, Capricorn. I like it a lot because there's an openness, there's a vulnerability here that is not something that we could have pinpointed necessarily a year ago or 2 years ago. This willingness to work with when you are so uncertain, I think is indicating a huge leap forward in your consciousness. Now let me get this Waite Smith out here. It's very cooperative. Yeah. Tell me about this Four of Pentacles and Lovers card. Yeah, the Sun. I mean, for some of you, it might be with your children. The Sun represents children, right? Sun also represents the sign of Leo, but it's about joy and happiness and all these kind of things. But as a result of being comfortable, being vulnerable. We've got a naked child on the back of a white horse here. There's a very innocent presentation of vulnerability here. And it might be that you are feeling a little bit out of your depth with something, right? That's entirely possible. But there's something so hopeful in it too. And even the Chariot card at the bottom of the deck here, I was talking about the possibility of success, but it's driving forwards. It's like, okay, we're here, we're committed, let's do it together. We don't know where we're going, we don't know what it's going to bring, but we're here and we're doing it. Now, when we come into May, we have the Five of Wands, and like I said, that isn't always a card that people enjoy to see because it can speak about conflict. But really what the Five of Wands is at its core is the struggle that makes the victory worth it, right? I don't have to tell Capricorns, nothing tastes as sweet as something that you have worked off your fucking arse off to get, right? Those things that come easily do not have the same kind of value. And Capricorns are built for work, right? I'm not talking about your career, although we could be, right? You innately understand as a Saturn-ruled sign that nothing comes easily. Nothing should come easily if it has any kind of inherent value, and you are prepared to delay your own gratification in order to achieve that, right? And the Five of Wands is actually like the Six of Wands. It's not really a card that you can read in isolation, I don't think. It's coupled together, and it should be coupled together, because Saturn in Leo leading to Jupiter in Leo is the hard work that comes before the success, right? So we had a taste of the success here where you've actually pulled off something that you've been really worried about, right? You've pulled off this big decision, you've changed, you've done all of that. It is a minor victory, and this is important in the grand scheme of things, though. Definitely a case of you battling your own internal demons and frankly fucking winning, which is great. But it is the first step in what the rest of your life is going to look like, right? And so we can't get away from the fact that there are going to be disruptions, there are going to be difficulties, there are going to be points in which you struggle. And May seems to be a little bit like that. But what we have that is acting as a beautiful counterpoint to this is the Four of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Wands here. And here's where it gets really interesting, Capricorn, because I feel that, in fact, I was listening to something this morning that absolutely chimes beautifully with this. Like, if you have purpose, if you have a reason to be doing something, there is, I think, no limit to what you can endure to make sure that you get there. Right? And in some ways, this is a little bit of a test, right? We know that you're working to some sort of plan, loose as it may be at the moment, right? But still maybe in the early formulation phase of it, right? But it's going to kick up a notch this month. And it's going to be difficult. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be ways in which it's hard. But Four of Wands here, we are creating a new foundation. I mean, the Four of Wands is an endlessly creative card, right? But it's about creating a new foundation where you are right now. Sometimes it's called the wedding card, right? The marriage card. You can see how she's decorating this table here. And we've got the Two of Cups next to it. Now, this is what I think is the beautiful counterbalance to whatever struggle you're seeing this month. It's because it's got a purpose. It's got some sort of value to it, right? It's all aligning in terms of this new plan, whatever it is, which may be kind of loose at this point. It really fucking means something to you, Capricorn. And we're not talking about the kind of empty fulfillment. And I know that's a bit of an oxymoron, but bear with me, right? The kind of fulfillment that you were sold when you were much younger, that said, Capricorn, you need to get to the top of your game. And then all of that delayed gratification will pay off because you will have money, you will have status, you will have achieved lots and lots of things. And you were like, okay, I'm doing it. And you got there and you're like, well, this is cool. Like, I have got all those things. But the thing that's missing is the fulfillment. Like, where's the emotional fulfillment? I think for a lot of Capricorns, I'm trying to find the word that I'm looking for here and I can't find it. I don't think it's conflagration, but it might be, right? Conflation. There we go, fucking hell, got there in the end, right? There's been a conflation between achievement that comes from everybody else kind of looking at you and going, well done, you know, patting you on the head, giving you lots of money and all that sort of thing, and purpose. And you have gone after your achievements as if they were your purpose. And eventually, when you got there, you realised that it didn't really mean what you wanted it to mean. It didn't really feel how you wanted it to feel. And so this, internal detonation that's gone on over here, where you've fought your own internal demons and you've come out on top and you've done the thing, you felt the fear and you did it anyway, means that you've cleared space in order to think about what really fucking matters to you. To some extent, you are creating a new set of core principles within yourself. Right? And be under no illusion, there's identity creation going on in here, but it's very different. It's coming directly from you, Capricorn, and not what you've been told you should be experiencing or you should be achieving in life. And I mention this because the extension of this is that we don't expect things to be easy. They're not going to be easy. I mean, fuck, it's 2025, right? And 2026 is going to be interesting as well. In fact, like, the astrology doesn't really settle down until about 2032, if I'm honest. But I mean, this year is a big one. Next year is a big one. 2027 is a big one, right? So no matter how difficult it is, because it aligns with this new set of core principles that you are working to, I don't think the suffering even really registers, right? It's not really showing up in your head. We've got the Ten of Wands here, and I think this is absolutely astonishing, right? Because in the Triple Goddess Tarot, it is literally the only Ten of Wands where the character is depicted as putting down the fucking wands, right? Normally we see people in back-breaking poses trying to carry 10 wands, and always there's a flow of questions that follow with the presentation of that card, and it's just like, did you need so many fucking wands? Did you need to carry them all in one go? Right? We're looking at the way that you have done things. I said you've made things fucking hard for yourself, and one decision or a number of small decisions, like, I don't need quite this many, I can stow some under a bush, I can walk home, I can get someone to come give me a hand with these, right? There are different ways of doing what is burning you out at the moment, right? This is the only card where, representing the end, someone's put the burden down. And I think what's quite beautiful about this, the subtle stuff that's going on underneath, is even though you're kind of getting to grips with your new life, and there is struggle associated with that. There's always going to be struggle associated with that, right? You have alleviated yourself of a burden that was far, far bigger, right? You've cleared space in yourself so that you do have the strength, the tenacity, and more than that, the commitment and the discipline to actually make this work. Because this, and any struggle that this involves, is so much more fulfilling than what you've left behind. It means something. It's got purpose, Capricorn. So while the dominant energy might be struggle, I think it would serve you well to just check in with yourself. Do it once a day if you want to, or you do it more than that, and go, this struggle is what I choose. Right? It's not one that's been thrust on me. I chose this, I'm responsible for this, and I'm fucking loving every single aspect of that. I think a Capricorn without responsibility is a lost thing. Honestly, I really do. Maybe even to an extent a Capricorn without struggle would be a bit of a lost thing, right? But it's not struggle for the sake of it. It's not responsibility for the sake of it. It's not pursuing something that doesn't have meaning, quite the reverse. It's pursuing, like, every single thing that you do is a reinforcement of how you are centering your life around your purpose and what now means so much to you. So then the energy of this month is actually extraordinary. It's incredibly validating because you've got what you want right across the board. You've actually got what you need right across the board. Let's have a look at this oracle card here. Storm. Well, aye. fuck aye, it's 2025, right? There is a fucking storm. Part of the storm for you, Capricorn, is that you're not quite sure who you are yet, and that's okay, like, because you're changing. You've been through a lot just recently, and it's going to take a little while for the new to bed in, particularly if a lot of what is going to be the new is almost like a collaborative process, right? It's not just you, it's everybody else as well. The struggle is real. But if the struggle has meaning, if the struggle has a purpose motivating it from behind, it's just stuff you get through to get to the good stuff. That Six of Wands. You've already had a taste of it. Now reality is kicking in. Saturn, right? Now reality is kicking in. That's fine. That's fine. It's going to take some time. All you need to do is be patient with yourself. I actually love this for you, Capricorn. I think this is really fucking exciting. So, I'm going over to the extended now. You're very welcome to join me if you would like to do so. The links are in the description box, Self-Eye, Circle, whichever you like. I'd be delighted to see you in either place. But if this is not your thing, it's absolutely fine. Just remember to check in with yourself. Say, I chose this, right? Own everything that is happening in that way that you can, Capricorn. And remember that the alternative is what you were boosting away from, right? So no matter how struggly this month is, it's yours. And there's something canny fulfilling in that, you know? All right. I'm going to leave it here. Know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.